Hey everyone. So, 4 years before starting my master's and shifting to Europe, there was one thing that I never thought of, but somewhere in the early 2018 or more this year, I started thinking about that. And now, by now, you must be wondering what is that? So, I've been thinking more about how my career choice affects my family, especially during instances of when somebody is critically ill in my family and this is something that is very close to my heart, but I never thought about it. So I was so much focused in my career that when I shifted to Europe for my master's, I didn't think about shifting to Europe for a long term. So initially, my focus was just for 2 years or something, but obviously, I really like the culture, I like the working environment here, so I decided to shift back to Europe. But even then, I didn't think about this parameter of how much I value my family. And this is something that maybe you want to talk to your family before deciding to shift abroad. I'm not saying that it's impossible to deal with all this, and probably your family is more comfortable with this. Well, I'm really lucky that my family understands me, and we also have this open communication where I can talk to my mother and talk to my other family members about what I'm going through and what they are going through. I know there are these moments when they don't tell you things. There are these moments when they just think that if they tell you, then you're sitting far away from them and you'll worry about those things. So, before you decide for a particular position abroad, especially if it is for a job for a long term, make sure that you talk to your family about if they'll be able to deal with a particular situation without you. Because, especially with this global pandemic, we've learned to understand that traveling is not that easy during this time. And if something strikes during this time, it is much more difficult as compared to before. So, concerning traveling, few things that I learned in the last couple of days, in fact, is that if you have a very critical situation in your family and you're living abroad, then try talking to them and see if they can solve it without you. Point number two is that you need to be mentally prepared for it. And I'm really speaking this out of experience is that if you plan to shift abroad for your work, you would have holidays for 25 to 30 days, depending on the type of job that you have, depending on the type of lab that you're part of. Especially I'm speaking for PhD students, especially for people in Switzerland. At least I have holidays for 25 days in the year. uh, and what is expected of me is that I'm good at my work. So this is something that I have learned over the last year in my PhD is that if you're good at your work and if you have gained the trust of your supervisor, then you can just be frank to them about what you need. So let's say if you need to take holidays all of a sudden, which is not recommended, but if your family demands that, and if you have to suddenly visit your family, you can just tell your supervisor. And if you have had a good understanding between you and your supervisor, then you'll be able to deal with the situation for sure. The other thing that I wanted to mention here is that before you even start your PhD, make sure that you know how to recharge yourself, make sure you know how to stay balanced and how to have the clarity of mind. Because when you're really away from your family, you need these activities that can help you, that can boost your confidence, that can make you decide for yourself what is right, what is not right. And let's say you're stuck in a situation where you cannot visit your family, but your family really needs you, and you also want to be there, but you cannot be. So, how are you going to make sure that you can bounce back at your work? And what is that one activity that can help you to get back to work is something that you want to learn. So, this is one thing that nobody talks about. Usually, I have, at least as far as my experience says, nobody told me about these, and I'm sharing this with you because I have been going through this, especially this year, somewhere in February this year, also somewhere in um, somewhere around, I would say, almost April, May, and then also now. And it's a high probability that anybody would go through this, but we just don't talk about this. When it comes to PhD applications, all we talk about grades, we talk about GRE scores, we talk about TOEFL scores, we talk about letter of recommendation, we talk about statement of purpose. But what really matters is the time that you give to your family, and also the balance that you make between your motivation for your career and also the time to your family. So this is all out of experience. I might be wrong here, so take it just with a grain of salt. But I am definitely sure that this is something that affects pretty much everyone, whoever is staying abroad, but nobody just wants to talk openly about it because I think it is also something very personal to people. So I guess it was a bit intense, but such things need to be spoken about because these things affect your mental health. And if you're not totally concentrated um, at your work, then it affects your work. So it's just a vicious cycle which affects your family, then affecting you, affecting your mental health, affecting your work, and then it goes back. So you need to know how to come out of this cycle and how to bounce back and how to stay motivated and driven. So that's quite about it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it. And I will try to see you in another video. These are just my honest opinions, and it's just a vlog on PhD and things to consider before starting your PhD. And I might be wrong here, I'm saying this again, but it's just up to you to judge. And that's quite about it. That's just my opinion. So see you later. Bye for now.